I'm Sarah Hewen, joined by COBRE CEO Adam Wooldridge. Adam, to start us off, could you please provide an overview of the company?
Sure. Thanks, Sarah. So COBRE is an ASX-listed exploration junior. Our focus is copper, and our main project of interest is in Botswana, where we're looking at the Kalahari Copper Belt. In the Kalahari Copper Belt, you'd be looking for new sedimentary copper deposit discoveries. So Botswana, we have the second largest tenement holding in the Kalahari Copper Belt, and that's alongside the two producers in the region, Sandfire Resources and MMG, who've recently moved into the belt with the acquisition of Copper Canyon. Our ground is really strategic in the sense that we've focused our efforts on targeting the basin margin particularly. And then we also have ground along strike and adjacent to some of the known deposits and producing deposits in the belt. We've adopted a three-tier approach to our exploration in Botswana. The first sort of prong, if you like, of that approach has been looking for new tier one discoveries. And we really see opportunity in these large fold structures that occur in the belt. We want to target areas where those fold structures still have the roof preserved. And this would really bring sort of really large, sort of bigger scale systems on board for targeting. So in that aspect, we've partnered with BHP. So we're part of the 2024 BHP Explore program, and we're really focusing on that aspect with through the program. At the same time, we have another prong, which is to look for more short-term windfalls for the company, and that's to drill strategically, looking for new copper discoveries, particularly, for example, on the current project where we're drilling on our occure project, which is literally next door to MMG. Any copper intersection there will have a huge impact on our share price in the short term. And then the last aspect of our exploration strategy is our Ngami copper project. We have an exploration target of more than 100 million tonnes at 0.5% copper on this project. And it's really displaying all the key hallmarks for an in-situ copper recovery process. If we can get this to work, so we're focusing a lot on the engineering and hydrological sides on this project. If we can get this to work, this will put us on a development pathway as well.
You mentioned using in situ copper recovery at Ngami. Can you explain how this works and the benefits of this type of extraction?
Yeah, of course, sure. So an in situ copper process, to make it an effective candidate for in situ copper recovery, you really need to satisfy three important criteria. The first one is your mineralization has to be leachable, of course. It then has to be below the water table, and then you need the right sort of fracture systems in place. You need the right hydrogeology to actually make the process workable. We're really fortunate with this Ngami copper project. All our mineralization that we're intersecting there is chalcocite dominant, which is possible to leach. It's under the water table, and then most importantly, it's all associated with a big fracture system that's running very steeply dipping with impermeable layers on both sides. So it actually makes for an ideal candidate for an in-situ copper recovery process. The way the process would work, when you go into extraction, is you drill a series of injection and recovery wells into your mineralization. You would inject a weak acid, think lemon juice sort of pH, and then you would circulate that through the mineralization. So you're actually leaching in the ground. That gets pumped to surface, and then it's pretty much like a standard heap leach where you'd run an SXEW plant on surface and you produce a copper cathode on site, which is quite important as well. The main benefits for getting this to work, it's an environmentally friendly process. You can imagine there's no excavation, for example, and then it's really on the bottom of the cost curve in terms of extraction methodology. You're looking at a low capex, low opex process. It's scalable, and really, if we can get this to work, and given the size of the exploration target we're looking at, it would be a game changer for the company.
Hopefully that can be applied. And what can investors potentially expect from COBRE in the coming months?
Sure. So we've got a very busy 6 months coming. We're addressing each sort of aspect of that strategy. We're currently drilling at our Kalahari Copper project. Those results will be out in the next few months. At the same time, we have an ongoing hydrological study at our Ngami Copper project. Basically, we've drilled a large diameter injection well straight into the fracture zone, and we're busy extracting and repumping water into the fracture zone, and then using a series of monitoring wells to model the fluid flow through this fracture zone. And then this can be used to actually do your engineering studies and start working out what your injection recovery well spacing would be, and then that feeds into an engineering study. So we've started the engineering studies as well. We recently appointed METS to go through an engineering and ultimately build an economic model for this project. So that process is going to happen over the next 6 months. There'll be news flow coming out from the hydrological testing, which should be completed in a month, and then the engineering studies as we go. And then on the last portion of our strategy, we also have a seismic program starting at the end of the month, and that's really focused at trying to find a way to target these big fold scale fold trap sites where we hope to sort of identify new tier 1 deposits. So yeah, busy 6 months coming.
Fantastic, lots of work ahead. Thanks for the update.
Great, thanks for having me.